Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Tom, Moto-Resto LLC here in Bradenton, Florida with some exciting news. It's an exciting day for us here today. I have a new long-term project in the shop. This is not for a customer. This is something for yours truly that I recently purchased, and I'm going to introduce it in this video. This will be video number 1, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them to follow in this series. So without further ado and delay, let's go ahead and cue that dramatic intro.
There are those who believe in saving antique bikes from destruction near and far across the universe, where there are tribes of dedicated humans who are the forefathers of the builders, or the racers, or the collectors. Some believe that there may yet be two-wheeled creations of man which even now fight to survive somewhere beyond the workshop.
That's right, folks. We have ourselves a VFR 750F Interceptor 1986. I just picked this up a day or two ago. This is a running riding machine, but don't let that fool you because it does have some pretty significant problems, which I will go over here shortly. Overall, it is complete. Bodywork is in decent condition. It's not missing anything that I can tell right now significant as far as OEM stuff goes. There is definitely some problems with it though. But let's just go over it real quick here, show you what we got. You know, the standard 1986 version of the 750 VFR. You know, there was a 700 as well. I probably should cover that lineage a little bit here. This would be a first generation, part of the first generation series of the VFRs. There was, of course, during this period of time, the implementation of a tariff by the United States against Japan as far as importing motorcycles that were over 700 cc's. In response to that, and that tariff was initiated in 1984, the Japanese reduced the size of a lot of these motorcycles down to 700 if they were 750. The Magna is a good example of that because although this is a 750, this is an 82. When you go up in years, a few years, it turns into they still call it a V45, but it's actually a 700 to compensate for that tariff. Now, they didn't stop, that is Honda did not stop importing motorcycles over 750 cc's. You know, they have the V65 Magna and Sabre, 1100 cc job, and they still did this one as well, 86 and 87. So this particular trim is an 86 to 87 trim level, if you will, or model for this generation. It goes down the line with a couple of different generations, I think like 3, something like that. And then it turns into, when it's retired, into the VFR 800, which some of you may be familiar with. The reason why I wanted this one is, number one, I've been looking for a project bike to do for myself. The last one I did was my ZX-10 a few years ago, which I did sell to a gentleman who's now one of my customers. And so I wanted another one. So I've been looking around. I would have been a little happier maybe with like a 79 or an 80 KZ 650. But they're difficult to find, even in decent shape, or rough shape, I should say. Even in rough shape, they're big money. So I saw this and went to look at it and went over it with a very nice young man who owned it, and paid him, and he signed the title, and here we are. So I'm still waiting on getting into the tag office. Down here in Florida, we have county tag offices that handle pretty much all your registration and title work. And so, unfortunately, because of the situation that's going on right now, they have very little staffing. I spoke to them yesterday, in fact, and they are only doing appointments only, whereas you used to be able to just walk in and get title work done, but now you got to do appointments. I don't have an appointment until next week. So my rule is I do not spend a great sum of money on a restoration project until the title is transferred into my name, just in case there is a problem. But this title, I did check online, is clear. It's Florida title, it's valid, and it's all executed properly. I've done this before. This ain't my first rodeo. So enough of the background. It does run, which I'll show you here in a minute. There's a couple of big problems with it, though. Number one, it has no fourth gear. Fourth gear is gone. It is blown out. It is vaporized. I don't know what happened to it. My young man customer that I bought it from, he said he got it that way. And he's actually been riding it that way, which is kind of, I don't know, concerning maybe, but maybe not. I guess a testament to Honda quality, because it still was rideable, and he was riding it every day. It was his daily driver. The other problem is it has these super trap exhausts on it, and now I've opened these up, but he had these caps on it that has those, I forgot what they're called. I'm not terribly familiar with these, the ones you can adjust with those thingies you put on the end of them. They're almost like reeds or something. They were not set up properly, and essentially this exhaust was like closed. I mean, I don't know how it was running. So I'm not too confident that the combustion chamber is going to be all that clean, but we're going to figure it out. But since the motor has got to come out anyway to do the transmission work, I may end up just shotgunning the, what you'd call a top end, but this engine really doesn't have a top end. It does, but it doesn't. I mean, the cylinder heads essentially and valves are your top end, because the cylinders are part of your block. There's not separate jugs you can take off. I said jugs. How often can you use that in a video? Forks aren't leaking. Suspension seems to work as far as the rear and front goes. Like I said, it does run, which I'll show you. The tank paint is not in the greatest shape, of course. Let me show you the mileage. It has, what is that, 34 to something. I can't really see it. You can see it better than me. That's not terrible. It's about the mileage that's on the Magna. And the Magna does a heck of a lot more duty than this thing did. Of course, this thing has been crippled, so yeah, what he's been doing is he's been just running up through the gears, and he trained himself just to go past fourth and into fifth and sixth. So it doesn't grind or it doesn't make any noise like that. I suspect there's probably some nasty sitting in the bottom of the sump pan, but I don't know that for sure either. The way the shifter feels, you can see somebody's kind of bumped this up a little bit, make it thicker. And this is not as tight as it needs to be as well. But the way this thing feels, my initial guess is a combination of bent shifter forks, transmission gear / cog issues. Probably all the above. So that's what I'm expecting to see in there when we finally take this out. Now this motorcycle is a lot easier based on what I've read, because I haven't done one, but to take the engine out, it's not one of your typical, like in the frame, like you have on this Z1R frame here, where you have a complete frame. And on this particular bike, in the other KZ1000s, you know, the engine has to go in at an angle downwards and be leveled out. It's a real pain in the ass. This one, it's called a twin spar frame. Motor is a stress member. Kind of like me sometimes when I get pissed off, a stress member. But this particular one has got the twin spar with stress member engine, and the engine goes down when you take it out. You just simply lower it out of the frame. So when that happens, I don't know if I'll video it all, but when that happens, I will probably, after I strip everything off of it that I need to, which will happen soon, we'll put it down here on the floor at the floor level. It does not have a center stand, unfortunately. I wish it did. So I will probably do something with, I don't know, some sort of wheel chock set up on the floor. I haven't figured that part out yet. Either that or I'll find a center stand online and install it for this particular purpose. It would be very useful. Just drop the engine down on the floor, hook it up to the hoist, and get it up onto a work surface, and we'll start working on it. That's probably the plan. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the stand. We'll turn the fuel on, fire it up, and see how it sounds. I have not done this yet. I only heard it running when he showed it to me, and actually he rode it over here to sell it to me, and then I gave him a ride home. He lives not too far away. It's in my pickup. So I haven't started it since then. I didn't even ride it. I said, no, I'm going to take it. And I just sat on it yesterday. I do like the ergos. So let's set you up and see how she sounds. I'm going to have to take you off the lapel mic for this, because it sounds like a drowning yak in the audio when I have that on because of the noise cancellation, I guess. I just rechecked the oil. We're good there. Give it a little enricher. See what we got. unfortunately, it has these dumbass LEDs, high intensity lights. See, I don't know if you can tell it's flickering. Trust me, those are going quick. As you can see, it runs pretty good. Not quite as good as that does, but it will. I don't see any blue smoke. I don't smell any oil smoke. I did check the oil, and I think I mentioned that. And so top end, or so to speak, maybe just fine. We're going to find that out. And once I strip this thing down, we're going to be doing a compression test before the motor comes out. And I got a comment in another video about compression tests. Somebody said, "Oh, what are you doing all these compression tests for? Are you spending too much time on compression tests? It doesn't really tell you anything." And that's wrong. It tells you a lot. But I won't get into that right now. I'm going to go over right now what the order of operations is going to be here. So first thing is, I'm going to sell it. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to take the bodywork all off carefully, and then we will start testing some stuff because I want to do borescope down the cylinders. Remember, this is a V4, so 1 and 3 are back here. So you got 1 on the left side, 3, and then 2 and 4 in that manner. Okay. So I'll do a borescope on all 4 cylinders to check what the combustion chambers look like and so forth. Check the spark plugs, of course, see how they look. And then we'll do some other important checks that I come across or think about at that particular time. I can't think of them right now, but I'm sure I will then. Preparing it for an engine removal. Well, I'm going to do, again, most of that up here in the lift, and then we'll get it off the lift, and I'll have to look on eBay and see if I can find a center stand for it, because that will help out a lot. It's going to be a real nightmare to try to lower this engine down on the lift, and then I'd have to slide it off, and I don't really have a good way to pick that up. When you just drop it down on the lift, I think I'd rather just put it on the floor, and then I can hoist it up onto probably that lift. I'll have to send the Z1R chassis to another location. I'm still working on the swing arm. That's another video, and we'll just do it that way. I'll figure something out. I always do. So as far as body work goes, like I said before, it's there. It's complete. It has your normal little cracking and little doodads here. The only major part is it is missing a chunk right here, which would normally go to this little bracket. I can fix that. When you get to that point, I'll probably do a little video on that separately. This is a very repairable plastic. I use a kit from a company called Aircraft Spruce, and it's actually an aircraft fiberglass / plastic / whatever composite or component material you have repair kit designed for that. It's very reasonably priced. I think it's around $100, maybe just under. And it comes with all the glues and all this stuff. But my kit is completely decimated from doing the ZX10. That needed a ton of plastic repair work. I mean a ton of it. Whereas this one, not so much. There's not much more to it. I'd show you under the seat, but it's kind of nothing to it. It looks good. Everything under the seat looks good. The wiring's not all butchered. I mean, it's really not in bad shape. Kind of excited about it. I didn't notice any indication of like being crashed. The young man I bought it from said he got it from the original purchaser who lived down in Venice. If that individual happens to catch this video and recognizes this bike, please reach out to me, because I certainly have some questions for you. More like history questions mainly. I see there's a little problem up there. Obviously they put a big washer in, probably need to do a little plastic work up there, but this is absolutely nowhere near the devastation that the ZX10 plastic had. I had to replace the main fairing and the side panels on the ZX10, and my customer that bought it from me had the belly pan put back on. I didn't do that part. I said I don't really care about the belly pan, to make it whole again. So again, that's long past history. The other thing I wanted to show you was I'm thinking it might need a brake disc, like nothing left of it. So we'll probably, not probably, we will end up definitely doing that when the time comes. Pretty cool. Looking forward to it. All that dirt and crap come down on a lift there that was up in that belly pan. And on the exhaust, he came over and delivered it to me the other night. It was raining. And so this thing's actually pretty dirty. It's going to have to come off and get washed before I get into it too much. But, you know, my driveway being shell doesn't help either. It just picks it up and coats it with calcium deposits, I guess. So, yeah, anyway, looking forward to it. I don't really know what I'm going to do in regards to paint body work as far as the aesthetics go. Naturally, this really needs to be redone. But, you know, until I get into it and start messing with it, and I think somebody has painted this themselves, to be honest with you, because it just doesn't look factory. I'll figure that out as I go. You know, that's going to be way down the road here. I'm going to get the mechanical stuff done first, and then we'll deal with the body work and aesthetics. I'm going to most likely go ahead and pull the trigger. Oh, my wife's not watching. On having this professionally done as far as painting goes. I may do the stripes myself. I got to look and see how that was done. I honestly don't know if that was a painted deal. Besides the sticker, of course. I don't even know if that's right. Any decal work I can do myself, but as far as the painting and so forth, I'm going to be subbing that out. I have done it before. It sucks. I hate doing it. I don't have the right setup, and it's nerve-wracking. So I'm not going to do it this time. That's going to sum it up right now. I wanted to ask if anybody out there watching is a VFR person, has any parts, has anybody that they know that has parts for this 86, 87 first gen or anything like that, reach out to me because there's definitely going to be some stuff that I'm going to replace. The exhaust, for example, is almost numero uno because it's pretty rusty and we're going to be getting rid of those cans and putting something else on. I doubt it's going to be OEM. They're too hard to find, but we'll definitely be getting rid of those. So, speaking of getting rid of, I don't want to get rid of you, so don't forget to subscribe. Ring the bell if you like the video. That way you can follow this entire project. Like the video, and as always, don't just repair, restore. Catch you on the next video.